good afternoon, and a very good evening to you. They're going to play with a tube. Hope you're feeling grand and all in your world. I certainly am, as I have this mega pedal to show you today, everybody. This is an Alan Entwistle Deranger Germanium treble booster, and it is glorious in so many ways. For the longest time, I stayed away from treble boosters because I'm terrified of treble. I'm not terrified of treble, I just don't like treble. But as soon as I finally got a treble booster and realised what they actually did, it was like an epiphany moment. I was like, these things are amazing. I love the sound of treble boosters. They just take you immediately back to the late 60s, early 70s. They're just that sound. They are just that sound. No matter what guitar you plug into them, no matter what amp you plug them into, when you turn these things on, they just take you back to that sound. And this one does it so well. It's awesome. I love it. There's something to be said. There's something to be said for that old Germanium treble boostery sound. So yeah, thanks to Alan Entwistle, by the way, for sending me this pedal for review. I love it. I'm really happy at the fact I get to keep this pedal as well. So thank you, Alan, so much indeed. I love this pedal. It's really, really cool. So it's very simple. Like treble boosters were. You plug them into your amp. You've got one dial for gain. I've just got it on full whack. I will play with it at some point. And then there's also a switch on the side here for full range and treble. So basically full range gives you more kind of like low end, you know, a bit of a fatter sound. Treble gives you that more kind of classic treble boostery, Rory Gallagher, Deep Purple, kind of Richie Blackmore kind of sound. And it's just mega. It's absolutely mega. One thing I will say about treble boosters, they work in much the same way as fuzz pedals. So treble boosters don't particularly like to be run into a clean amp. They don't particularly like that. They don't like clean. They like a slight bit of breakup. So that's how I'm going to run mine today. I'm going to be going through the CR120 today. We're going to go through the dirty channel only. I'm going to go through a couple of different guitars. This pedal was actually designed around the RTL-59. So this guitar and this pedal are designed to go together. And as you heard in the intro, heaven, I think so, yes, I do believe so. It's just this gorgeous Les Paul tone. It's just a classic Les Paul tone. I love it to bits. And you'll hear it in isolation in a minute. So yeah. Just let you know what's going on with the amplifier. I'm gonna run on a dirty channel. Volume is all the way up. Treble, middle, and bass are all the way off, so they're turned all the way down. Gain, I will mess around with the gain just to show you on different gain structures. But for the intro jam, I had the gain at 3 on the CR120 just to be. It's basically quite, it's fairly cleanish. I'll show you the bypass signal in a sec anyway when I show you the pedal in isolation. But yeah, so it's at 3 at this point in time, but I will mess with it, and obviously different guitars as well. I'm going to use my Oswald Telly, Stratocasters as well, obviously, and maybe the Jag as well, just to show you different kind of things. But like I say, simple pedal, plug in, turn it on, select your setting, turn the gain up all the way, and away you go. And it responds to the volume control really well. You heard that in the intro jam. I was messing around. The intro was riding the volume control neck pickup. It's ridiculous. Love this pedal so much. So, again, massive thanks to Alan for sending this pedal. Love it to bits. Really cool. If you like treble boosters. Yes. So, enough jibber jabber. Let's make some noise. So, first sound I'm going to show you is basically the sound that I had for the intro jam with the RTL-59 in isolation without kind of any backing track. So, let's make some noise, get some different guitars through this thing, different settings. Okay, so far the game's been fairly low. The highest I've got to gain wise on the amp is 6. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank the gain all the way up, put the Deranger, which I love the name, to the treble side. I'm going to turn the reverb down, and we're just going to do one last, basically full out gain example with the RTL 59 and go for a Gary Moore-esque kind of thing. Let's see what happens. Okie dokie, there you go, people of the tube. I hope you enjoyed the noises this thing's made. I certainly have. I've really loved the over-the-top Gary Moore one, not the last sound you heard, the one before that, where it's just like full-out game. Saying that, the last one was really cool as well, even had more dynamics. But yeah, this pedal's wicked. Like I say, I feel treble boosters like to already have a distorted, semi-distorted signal before you plug them in. They don't particularly like clean sounds. If you're going to run this into a clean kind of amp, it will sound a bit choppy and harsh, like much in the same way like a fuzz pedal will, or certain distortion pedals, overdrive pedals will. When they run into a clean sound, they don't particularly like it. You know, they much prefer that kind of like overdriven, that kind of broken up kind of sound. They sit better. They prefer it. And that's the way these things would have been run back in the late 60s and 70s. You know, these weren't run into clean, quiet amps. You know, the amps were cranked. When Rory ran his Rangemaster into his AC30, that AC30 was already wound all the way up. And, you know, when you crank an AC30, you get quite a bit of gain, and then sticking that in front of it is just going to add even more to that. Same thing with Richie Blackmore. You know, his Marshall was never turned down to clean. You know, it was always kind of fairly cranked. Same with Brian May as well. It's always cranked to the teeth, and then this thing's sat on the top. And what I love about treble boosters is they take away that flubby low end you get when you do that. When you crank up an amp, you know, sometimes you get this kind of like flubby low end, it's like a big fat bass sound. Hopefully you would have heard it kind of go away in the Gary Moore example. You know, at the beginning when the treble booster wasn't on, you could hear it's quite fat, very big. There's not a great deal of definition, but as soon as you kick one of these things in, the definition comes back, the character comes back, and the dynamic comes back. And that's cool. That's really cool. Anyway, but yeah, so, you know, I like that. But like I say, they do like being run into a, like, you know, semi-distorted signal in the first place. They don't like to be run into a clean signal. It doesn't really go very well. It's like fuzz pedals. Fuzz pedals prefer an overdriven sound to a clean sound. They just work better with that kind of like, you know, semi-dirty-esque kind of sound before that, you know, before the pedals kind of get kicked in. It gives them a happier platform to live on, or live in, should I say. But anyway, and the last sound example I did, I just basically left the gain all the way up on the C120 and turned down the treble booster, because it still does the same thing of cleaning up the kind of like the low end and the flub, so to say, and it gives you back like control over the sounding. It gives it that more kind of like, you know, where the guitar needs to sit in the mid range, and it also gives you the ability to kind of ride the volume controls and get all sorts of different tones from your guitar, which is really cool, and I love that. I love treble boosters for that. Anyway, this pedal's amazing. Like, massive thanks to Alan Entwistle for sending this pedal for review. I love it. It's really, really cool. It's amazing. It's absolutely really, really cool. I love treble boosters. If you have never tried a treble booster, seriously, I can't recommend trying a treble booster enough. They're so much fun. They're so much fun. And like I say, as long as you run it into a semi-distorted amp to start with, you know, they'll work the way they're supposed to work. But it's just mega. They're so cool. They're so cool, and they just have that sound. I love it. I love the sound of this with the black Strat. It just took me to Rory Gallagher Tasteland, and I was trying to play Rory Gallagher stuff without playing Rory Gallagher stuff. There was a couple of hints, but I should say Gallagher, not Gallagher. Sorry, I do apologise to any Irish people watching. I always pronounce his name Gallagher. It's not. It's Gallagher. But I was trying to channel him through that kind of like taste Isle White kind of tone, and it just sounds so close to me. I mean, I don't know how well that'll come across, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the noises this thing makes. It's amazing. I love it. So massive thanks to Alan again. This pedal is wicked. Like I say, the noise this thing makes. It's because I'm not plugged in anymore. That's clever. Let me just plug it in quick and show you what I mean. It does make your amp hiss, but okay. So if we go back to the sound I had at the beginning, gain on 3, treble boost all the way up, and engage. That's a lot of gain. And hopefully you can kind of hear the difference. If I just do this. Okay, so there is amp hiss, but trust me, you're only hearing that because it's a quiet room. As soon as you start playing to a backing track or playing, that goes away. You can't hear that. Yeah, that just isn't, it's not there. You know, so don't worry about that. And in all fairness, I think your amp should make some kind of noise anyway. When my amp's dead silent, it scares me because I think it's broken. I like to have some kind of noise coming from the amplifier. You know, not the buzz of it being on, the actual noise in the speaker, the hiss of the amplifier. I love that sound because it reminds me of like all these old gigs of Cream and Jimi Hendrix and like, you know, Fleetwood Mac and Rory Gallagher. The amps would not have been quiet on the stage. There would have been a lot of buzz and a lot of hiss and a lot of noise coming from those things. You know, it's only kind of like, you know, it's only in, I say, fairly recent times, you know, you could probably maybe think about the 80s onwards, where amplifiers have been shut up more than anything. But if you crank up an old amplifier, an old 60s amp, they make a lot of noise when they're wound up. But it's all part of it. And I love that. And I miss that. And I also missed kind of like, when you watch like people like Jimi Hendrix and Rory Gallagher and people like that, and they're on stage and they're tuning on stage by it, I love that as well. And I think that's something that's kind of like missing. I mean, silent tuning with a tuner's obviously more friendly to people's ears, but there is something to be said for the character of hearing somebody tuning guitar loud on stage. And I love the fact that Matt Bellamy still does it. If you've ever seen like Muse live, Matt Bellamy, if he sticks to one guitar, which is very rare these days, but if he sticks to one guitar more than one song, for more than one song, he'll invariably tune out loud, which is ace. And I love that. And I have done it a few times, I've got to say. I have tuned out loud a few times, and it does make me feel, it makes me feel quite nostalgic, for a time I never experienced, So anyway, I'm getting all gushy. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I say massive thanks to Alan again for sending this pedal. I love it so much. The Deranger, everybody, by Alan Entwistle. This thing is mega. Germanium treble booster. Like I say, if you've never tried a treble booster, I highly recommend trying a treble booster. They're so cool. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. And goodbye now. Thank you for watching.